Greetings everyone, Joseph James here from SchoolOfTrade.com. Today was March 1st, 2010. Here's your live trade room recap. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Sad to see the U.S. lose in overtime last night. Before we take a look at the trades we took today, guys, I want to remind you about the 3 important links on the YouTube page. 3 important links, guys, if you're watching this video right now in the description of the video. One's for our track record, one's for our 3-week trial, and one will take you right to our blog. We get a brand new article on dollar index trading posted on the blog today, so make sure you guys check out that important link in the description of the video. Let's take a look here. 2, 4, 5 total trades today. Put 18 ticks in our pocket. Gave back about 12 ticks at the end of the morning. We'll show you guys about that. We developed a nice strong correlation on dollar this morning. We'll go into that a little more. But we took 18 ticks out of the mark, guys. That means $180 for the month of March so far. We did 8,300 USD in the month of February, 9,300 USD in the month of January, and hopefully we're going to continue here with a nice long month of March. Of course, February was a pretty short month. We'll keep you guys posted. We're still making well over $17,000 here so far in the year so far. So we'll keep you guys posted. What's the most important thing that happened today? Well, the market gave us clues this morning, didn't it, guys? If you're with us this morning at 7:45, the market gave us tons of clues. What were the clues it gave us? Well, first of all, we knew today was a Monday morning. So Monday mornings, the same reason why you want to stay in bed is the same reason why most traders want to stay in bed. So Monday mornings are usually going to be a little bit slow. The second thing was we saw very slow price action. We opened up our time and sales window and we noticed we had very slow price action. We looked at the pace of a tape indicator. The pace of a tape indicator tells us, of course, the speed of that price action, and we saw a very slow red pace of a tape. We also noticed 2 main important things on the trigger lines. The first one was we noticed all the trigger lines were flat, which means there were no higher highs, no lower lows. It was a flat market. We also noticed something, that we had a very broad sideways range. And we know we have a very broad sideways range whenever I see my fast, my medium, my slow time frames all have the same trigger line levels. Okay, so whether they're flat or not, if all the trigger lines are the exact same price level, that tells me we have a slower time frame, a medium time frame, and a fast time frame, all of which have the same price level, which means very flat on a broad scale. And then last but not least, we looked at the dollar index, right, the DX symbol, and we noticed a significant overhead resistance, right? And this is what it looked like actually this morning. If you looked at the dollar index, guys, this morning with us, we noticed right away we had some significant sideways markets, and then of course, in addition to the sideways markets, we also had some significant overhead resistance. Now, first of all, when it comes to my slower time frame over on the left side, we noticed this overhead, right, 1, 2, 3, 4 top. We actually, if you guys look back in time here, we actually have a double top back here as well a couple days ago. So we had multiple double tops, triple tops, quadruple tops here around this 81,200 level there on the dollar. So with that overhead resistance here, what does that mean with us? Negative correlation. So with a negative correlation, if crude has resistance overhead, then that means that if the dollar has overhead resistance, then what's usually going to happen is the crude and gold will have support. So we started seeing overhead resistance of the dollar, which means we wanted to what? We wanted to be very careful on the short side with gold and crude. And you're going to see how that kind of bit me in the butt here later on this morning. We also, of course, look over at our fast time frame here. You can see in the fast time frame, very sideways, double tops, double bottoms. What we're looking for in the fast time frame is to see a very strong trend. So you see there's no real trend here on the fast time frame. There wasn't all morning. And then the fast and the slow time frame on the dollar here, we notice lots of overhead resistance, right? This triple or quadruple top, which means we're going to have lots of overhead resistance on the dollar, which means we should see lots of support on the gold and crude. Now let's see if this identification process actually worked out to be in our favor. Now if you look at the trades we took today, you'll notice here, guys, everything to the short side was a scratch or a loss. We got the day off on a good start with a long trade here, but then later on this morning, we continued to trade to the short side and we gave back that money. So let's take a look here. Short-term trend here on the crude. Now these 4 trades all on crude. We had 1 scratch on gold at 11 o'clock here, but everything else on crude this morning. Short-term trend was up. We break above this overhead level of resistance, 80.25. We mark up our swing high. We break below that swing high, and there's your breaker pattern to the long side. So a breaker pattern is a trend continuation pattern. We look for, of course, this red line here. We then break above a swing high level there to the upside. 31 was the fill, 858 was the time. We got our +5, +8, and +4. So we have a 4-tick first target. We got filled at +5. A second target of 8 ticks, got filled at +8, and then we trailed our stop for 4 more ticks to lock in 4 more ticks of profit. 2 off at 5 is 10, +8 is 18, +4 is 22. 22 ticks or 220 USD for the first trade of the morning here, guys, just before 9 o'clock here on crude. Now, always a great thing to see before the U.S. Open to get a couple trades taken here. We continued again with another winner here on the crude as well. Only about 10 minutes later here, 9:07 on the symbol CL, short-term trend is up. Now in this case, this is a two-step pattern, so it's a trend reversal pattern, not a trend continuation pattern like the breaker pattern, which means we have a short-term trend is up. We were looking for price to break above this 80.5 level up top here, but we don't. We come back down, mark up our swing low, and break below that swing low for a two-step pattern short counter trend trade here at 9:07. 80.34 was the fill. We got +4, moved our stop down to our point of entry to lock out all the risk. Then we didn't get taken out at a stop at +1. We actually got filled at +0, so it's going to be +4 times 2 is going to be 8 ticks off. Then we get filled at 0, which of course is 80 USD. Now in this case, kind of an interesting situation here. When we got short here below this 80.39 level there, you can see that swing low there. When we got short below this level, okay, we noticed right away things were not moving so quickly. So we of course watched momentum as it curled against us. Very slow price action. So once we saw the price slow down, stop got moved from -6 back down to entry -1, just to kind of lock out all that risk. Then price tumbled, got us our +4. Stopping is left there then, of course, and it came right back up and bounced us out at that point of entry. So, of course, we made 8 ticks there on the second trade, 22 ticks on the first trade. We were up 30 ticks, guys, before the U.S. market even opened up this morning, but then things began to slow down. And we knew, of course, again, remember that dollar index, we saw that overhead resistance on the dollar, and when we see that happening, we know things are probably going to start getting a little bit funky. That's exactly what happened. We started testing those highs again in the dollar. Here's a breaker pattern long on the crude, 10.49. Short-term trend is up. You'll notice this red line here at 79.81, 79.80 even. We make a swing high above that line. And then all the way over here, guys, we break above that swing high for an entry of 85. Now, in this case, again, we were starting to see things really slow down once we began to test those triple, quadruple tops there on the dollar. Things started slowing down, so once we got into this trade, now this is one of those trades, guys, here at 10.49 on the crude where everything lined up, lots of big buyers, momentum pointing to the upside. It was a picture-perfect environment to take this trade. The problem was, though, nothing moved. So once we got into this trade, you'll see right here, guys, right? We got in on this candle, and then all of a sudden it starts taking off back to the downside. Momentum, of course, shifts and points back down as well if you guys follow me down to the momentum indicator. And so I moved my stop to entry, and we got taken out at the point of entry, 85s. So nothing in, nothing out, guys, at 10.49 on the crude. Let's keep moving. Last trade of the morning, you guys, still on crude. Now this was where completely gave some money back unneeded here on my part. Mental mistake here on the crude here to finish up our morning. This was a short-term trend was down. You can see the short-term trend down, but the slope of my trigger line here. We're going to break below this swing, this level here at 79.72. We make up our swing low here, break below that swing low for a breaker pattern short. So the swing low, once we broke below it, we saw tons of sellers. In fact, if you were with us this morning, guys, around this area, they were pounding the sell side here. But for some reason, I felt like donating back to the cause, back to the market this morning. Didn't follow my rule because we had already said at this point, guys, we got to be careful about shorts. I was answering a question, I was doing something else, and not really paying attention. I guess one of the obstacles of being an educator is obviously having to do a couple things at once. Forgot about the rule against the short side, took the short side, and as you can see, guys, it gets chopped up beyond belief. 67 was the short side, guys. There were tons of sellers, but there was no big drop. Momentum then curled, and before I could really move that stop to entry, guys, I had already lost 3 ticks on it, and we gave back 12 total ticks, or 120 USD. So, guys, this was not the problem in the market. This was my fault completely. I'll take full responsibility for this one. In fact, my members were screaming at me, "What are you doing, Joe?" Mental mistake. Nothing to the short side, because remember, guys, if you go back and we look at the pound market this morning, what do we see? Right, we saw this overhead resistance, and this overhead resistance means support on gold and crude. So if I'm looking to take short trades and I've got lots of overhead resistance on the dollar, guys, that may not be the right trade for me to take that day. So of course, this final trade of the day here gave back a little bit of money, as you can see. It gave back about 120 bucks, 12 ticks at the end of the morning. We would have ended up with 30 ticks today, but instead we ended up with 18 ticks because I couldn't follow my simple rules. So what did we learn today? Watch the dollar, right? Don't discount the dollar's importance, guys. And of course, let's recap. So 6 total trades, guys, 18 ticks in, 180 bucks in the door. Tomorrow's Tuesday the 2nd. Not a lot going on tomorrow except for the fact that 9 o'clock we got that Bank of Canada rate decision, guys. Bank of Canada, #1 export is crude oil. As you can see, right, 9 o'clock, we may see some activity in crude tomorrow. Then we have the 9:30 U.S. Open, and tomorrow 11:30 for another one of our free webinars here in the live trade room. Let's recap. 7:45 we open up, guys. Don't miss tomorrow, 7:45 a.m. We got free webinar tomorrow, Tuesday. Thursday at 11:30 Eastern Time. The beginner's course is perfect for all you free trial guests. And don't forget, drop us an email for lifetime membership information, sales@schooloftrade.com. My name is Joseph James. Hope the video helps. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.